Okay, so this one, Painter1, it was actually started by a couple of guys that used to be, I believe it was Five Star Painting, the one we just talked about, franchisees. And then they spun off after their agreement expired and started Painter1 franchise system. So really impressive guys. I like them quite a bit. Jason, I don't remember the other guy's name, but Jason is one of the owners. They started Painter1 back in 2016. A couple main differentiators for them, and one big one. They have, and I'm going to kind of bounce around here.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to see if I can find the
Yeah,
yeah.
my bad. Yeah. So they do an all franchisee equity share of the entire system, which is pretty dang cool and something I've never heard of. So basically, franchisees own 10% owners' equity pool in the entire franchise network, which it really creates, again, more of a win-win, where if everybody wins, then everybody's going to win financially as well. So and another thing they do is paid mentorships. So when you start as a new owner, they'll assign you an experience. A lot of franchises do this, but like they will actually pay the mentor themselves. The franchisor will pay the franchisee mentor to spend a significant amount of time with new owners and help them really jumpstart their business. So, which I think is kind of cool. Like, I bet you they don't really need to do that, but it is a nice thing that just to show, like, hey, we understand the value of your time, and they want them to really help these new owners grow and create that like system of helping each other, which is, I think, pretty cool. So those two things are differentiators. One last one is they don't really have defined territories. Some people may like that, some people may not, but you can operate anywhere you want. And so we actually placed somebody in this franchise as well because they came from being a general manager with Sherman Williams. Is that Sherwin Williams?
Yeah.
Painting supply company. And they had locations all throughout the city of where they were located. But he's like, yeah, if I can't go and build relationship with referrals from that location, is kind of worthless. So I said, well, actually, you should look at this franchise because there are no restrictions territorial wise. You can operate wherever. It's openly competitive. So it ended up being a great fit for him. So Painter1, in a lot of these franchises, Painter1, Five Star Painting, they're really built to use subcontractors. So the benefit of that is when you're first getting started, it can just be you really hustling and bootstrapping it and getting out there and making sales and getting projects and then managing the subcontractors so you don't have people on payroll, you don't have to buy all the equipment. That's really on them. So that is the benefit of kind of taking that approach compared to the Wow One Day Painting one. So I really
Before
bounced around there, but what are your
No, I
go
thought that was I thought that was awesome, and those were really good points. And before we hit into the numbers, what I just wanted to say for a second is just to acknowledge you on like I don't think people understand how hard it is from your perspective or Chris's perspective to know these things about brands. Like to know that hey, there's 4 or 5 different painting franchises and like this one may be a good fit for this client today whereas this one may be a good fit for this client tomorrow but for different reasons. So to know that he was already looking at a different painting franchise but had that concern about territory restrictions and to either know or just go out there and find like the right fit, like that's the difference that makes the difference. Like this is why it's better to work with a professional than not, right?
yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, he could have easily gone with the other painting franchise he was looking at. And not to say that it would have been bad for him, but I also had lunch with this guy recently. And I know that he was telling me about that mentorship thing and how often he talks to his person and how helpful that is. And um, that, I don't know of any other franchises that are like that. And I feel like he's super, he does have a very logical mind. So I feel like it's probably helpful for him as well. So yeah, I think it's awesome. And I just want to acknowledge you for even like
Yeah,
figuring that
no,
out.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. I think the big thing is like we have Carista too, who is like a research nerd, and so she's literally spent the last 3 years like reading and listening to webinars and reading through FDDs about a lot of franchises. So, you know, every single client we work with, she will be involved in the meetings in some capacity, either watching the recordings and then helping us choose the franchises. And so that's where, when we collaborate two minds instead of just one to pick the franchises, I may have missed something like that, or vice versa. She may, we tend to catch some things that maybe others wouldn't, just, because we do have a pretty good process there. But anyways,
Yeah, it's a good point. And you guys see me and Kevin on these every Monday, but we divvy up the responsibility of doing this newsletter. Kevin and Krista both find the opportunities. I forget who does what, who does the resale, who does the new, but like, yeah, this wouldn't happen without Krista. She's just not, she doesn't want to be on camera. Really. Which is cool. Which is cool. Um Cool. So it's, I think this is, do you want to kind of tell us a little bit about how it's hard to see it because there's so many numbers, but the fact that they showed this level of transparency in their item 19 is rare.
yeah, it's very rare. And I honestly, I must be getting old because I can't even see those numbers. I don't know if you can walk through it, but I
I
can't even.
can. Yeah, I can. So, all right. So, and I have to look at this screen, but basically you have the territory here on the left-hand side. And then you got each month of the year, what the sales were and what it totaled to and what the monthly average is. So there's nowhere to hide. With like this is about as transparent as it could be outside of like showing the profit and loss statement for each location. And everyone runs their expenses differently. So, you got monthly averages of 14 grand, 27 grand. I think that's 87 grand a month. And for those of you who don't know, 83 grand a month, 83,333 is $1,000,000 a year. 100 grand a month, 60 grand a month, 68 grand a month, 40 grand a month, 66, 104 grand a month. And then you got the highest performing location doing an average of 150 grand a month, which annualizes about 1.8 million in sales. So, I think the cool thing here, this would make validation so easy,
Yeah,
right? Because the tricky part about validation sometimes is you have, let's say, a bad franchisee validation call, and then it's like, but was this just someone who's disgruntled, who sucks at running their business? And so they're saying something like they're saying something that maybe because they're just a bad owner and they're blaming it on the franchisor. Well, here you get to see like, okay, like I want to talk to the person who's only averaging 15 grand a month. Well, why are they? Oh, they only opened 3 months ago. Okay, well, that explains it. So now I can talk to them. Hey, what was your opening process like? What was that like, etc. Now I want to talk to someone who's only doing 22 grand a month and they've been open all year. How are they? What's their mindset? What are they thinking? And then I want to talk to a couple of people that are doing 100 grand a month and 150 grand a month. And how are they thinking? And then you're able to start having the conversations with knowing what the track record of the business is. Like, my goodness, that basically makes validation super easy.
yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, because you could, and then if you do speak with a lower performer, you probably can start to assess why they might be on the lower end, or maybe they're just in the wrong market. I don't know, but yeah, it is. I wish they all did it this way. I mean, it would be much easier.
Yeah, and then what's interesting is that and what I'm seeing is that the way they set up the averages, the way they tally it, is they average it over a 12-month period. So I'm looking at this person in Memphis, Tennessee. It looks like I would imagine that means they weren't open the first 4 months of the year. But what happens is it shows the average monthly as 8 grand. But that's just because they're dividing it by 12. So if you
Mhm.
divide it by 8, the average is different because they did 8 grand the first month in May, then they did 27 grand. It looks like 19 in July, and then 37, and then 31, 23, 45, 34. So if you really were to average that, I mean, that would be closer to mid 20s or 30, I would imagine. Let's see, yeah, 229 divided by 8. So that would be around just under 30. Yeah, which is interesting. So, anyways, if if you guys want to see if that franchise or any of the franchises that we talked about, or any of the franchises that we didn't talk about, if you just want to know what are the good franchises that are available in my specific geographic area, then you can have a free call with Kevin or Carista, and they'll be able to check what's available. And that will be you going to franchiseempire.com/check territory. You can even talk about resales on that call as well. You can talk about whatever you want, as long as you're not like trying to just waste our time.